This is what they do. This is the exact tactic we've been talking about. Is over and over and over again. They just reflexively use it.
I know you're being generous. Can we do one more story? It's about the NBC having to apologize for an accurate story. Do you want to? Can you?
Yeah, I have a few minutes, and also I don't want to eat into the time of the very honored and important expert Dylan Ratigan. I want to make sure your audience gets to hear from him. So I don't want to take up his time. So yes, let's do just one more story. I do need to go in like 3 minutes.
Okay. All right, go put the camera on Steph while I set this up.
All right. Hello, everybody.
Glenn's such a fucking so funny.
He
I
is
like
really
funny Glenn.
sticking it
I
to
like
you today,
funny
Jimmy.
Glenn.
Really sticking it to you. Hey, this is from Incidental Finding. Robinhood, don't worry, you can buy GameStop stock tomorrow after hedge funds have had 24 hours to get out of Dodge by covering their short positions without you peasants making it inconvenient for them by driving the stock price higher.
All right.
Back to JD.
So this is an amazing story, and this shows you exactly the failure of journalism and why we live in the country we live in. This guy tweeted out a perfect combination of establishment media fealty to Israel and this increasingly creepy favoritism for the new administration. So NBC News did a story. It was accurate. And it was negative about Joe Biden, so then they had to retract it. So here's the editor's note they did to the story. They go, hey, earlier today, NBC News published an article reporting that a family foundation linked to President Biden's senior director for cyber policy on the White House National Security Council donated more than $500,000 in recent years to AIPAC, the largest pro-Israel lobbying group in Washington. That seems important. After a number of readers raised issues with this article, NBC News conducted a review and has determined that it fell short of our reporting standards. In order to warrant publication, it needed on-the-record quotes from critics rather than anonymous ones. Why is that? They produce almost every article I read from NBC News is sourced with anonymous sources, especially the ones against anti-war voices. They're all sourcing. And the article should have also included more views from those who believe that donations to AIPAC do not represent a conflict. They should also have had more views from people who think AIPAC is a charity organization that helps Palestinians. They should also have had more views from fucking Benjamin Netanyahu. They should have had, what the fuck? Can you believe this shit? I mean, here's the article. The foundation linked to Biden's pick for cybersecurity gave 500. That's a fact. But then they had to apologize for that. So Glenn, what is your reaction to something like that? I mean,
obviously there has always been and continues to be enormous pressure not to speak critically of Israel or the Israel lobby. I think everyone watching your show likely knows that. And I think we've forgotten, because we don't pay that much attention anymore to Israel and Palestine, that there is still a huge taboo. This reporting, it's not groundbreaking. It's not earth-shattering. It's like the standard kind of reporting that decent journalists do to show the financial ties of government officials to people and organizations that have a vested interest in the policies that they're now responsible for supervising. It's just standard financial analysis of people in power that's done every single day. And yet in the case of AIPAC and Israel, these sudden standards, all these new rules arise about how many anonymous sources you're allowed to cite and how many critics you have to include. I would love for those standards to actually apply, but of course they don't. I don't know if you saw, but like earlier this week, Jamal Bowman had also posted a tweet critical of Israel for not providing vaccines to Palestinians. He was absolutely right, saying that under international law, because Israel is an occupying power, they have the responsibility for Palestinian health. And by not doing that, they're turning themselves into kind of a rogue state. And being a member of Congress from New York, that's a huge taboo to say that about Israel. Yes. And he just deleted the tweet. I don't know if he provided any commentary about why or has objectively apologized. I'm sure he will. But it's a good reminder, since we often do forget because other things have subsumed it in importance, that the taboo on speaking critically of Israel is an extremely potent one still.
Yeah, I mean, you're not allowed to. Yeah, it goes with war, Israel policy, but you're 100% correct. You know, remember didn't Benjamin Netanyahu address the Congress with uninvited from Barack Obama? Didn't that happen?
Yeah, he was a guest of the Republicans. He's a completely politicized figure, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You just can't. Israel is the third rail of American politics still. And this proves it. I mean, NBC just quickly, they didn't say like we reported anything inaccurate.
No.
They just made up bullshit standards that they never otherwise abide by and then apologized and took the article down. It's amazing. They barely pretended. All right, James, I love your show so much. I want to come back on very shortly. I'm sure you're going to have an excellent segment with Dylan Radigan. Please tell him I said hello. I'm a huge fan.
Well,
I think that's everything for today.
We're really hoping that Dylan brings the heat because this segment really sucked. But anyway, Glenn Greenwald, everybody check him out at greenwald.substack.com, and you can please donate to his Hope Shelter for rescued dogs, which uses Hey, by the way, how is that doing during COVID? Because you use homeless people to help sheltered animals. How is that working out?
Well, they live on the property. And so it's actually been very good for them because it's like on a kind of a farm. So it's like in an isolated area. And some of them do have compromised health from living on the street for so long. So it's been important for them actually to avoid getting infected. And so far, none of the people who work at the shelter have been infected with COVID. So it's really worked out well in that regard.
Okay, fantastic. Glenn Greenwald.
All right, Jimmy.
Thank you.
Good
Talk to you later.
you.
Bye-bye, buddy.
Bye.
Have fun on Laundry Day. Hey, President Joe Biden's on the phone. Hello.
Firstly, I'm on the phone. And second, I'm Joe Biden. But you can call me Joe Biden. Hey, guess what?
What?
I'm going to have to circle back on that one. And when I do, I'll be able to unpack it for you a little better. But I appreciate it. Great question.
Hey, I didn't ask you anything.
Happy Groundhog's Day, man. The day is that old groundhogs celebrate the freedoms that our great nations bestowed upon them of. This great melting pot of people.
Hey, people are saying your foreign policy isn't going to be any different than Trump's. How do you respond to that?
Oh, cut the crap, man. I had to send our troops into Syria so you wouldn't come here.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want our troops coming here, would you?
Yeah.
Fucking boots everywhere.
Jeez.
Bunch of sleeping bags in our parking garages. Simple as that, Simon. Get with it.
And what about Venezuela, Joe?
Will you shut up? I never touched her.
No, Joe. The country Venezuela.
Ah, come on, man. Are you so pissed off because I recognized Juan Guaido? What am I supposed to do? I saw him on the street and I said, hey, I recognize this guy. It's Juan. Juan Guaido of Venetia. Pretty good memory I still have, right? Even the European Union can't recognize him anymore. I remember stuff. That's why I anointed Tommy Blinken for Secretary of State.
You promised a public option, Joe. What happened to the public option?
Completely unnecessary. Public already has an option. Slow, torturous death.
Yeah.
It's all part of the American dream. Get with it. Get on it. Get up, get down, get funky, get loose. And that's only a part of it.
What's the other part?
Prison. Get 2 squares a day, roof over your head. The best privatized health care we can offer. Look, help is on the way. Your $1,400, $2,000, or $1,000 check minus expenses should be arriving any day now, starting early February, March, or probably April, depending on how much you made in 1998.
Wow, it sounds great, Joe.
But there's a catch.
Yeah, what's the catch?
You got to be alive to receive it. So don't go defrauding the United States of Americans by dying in February and trying to cash your damn check in April. We'll come and kill your whole fucking family. That's a fact, Cracker Jack, Pez dispenser, Otter Pop, Palm Tree.
Hey, didn't you copy your health care plan from an insurance industry letter?
Of course not. My wife did. And only the bad parts. She's a doctor. Lastly, don't miss the premiere episode of Snowpiercer tonight on TNT. It's about snow. And if you don't like it, you ain't black, Jack. See it to State of the Union if you got a mask. Will you shut up, man?
4 years of this guy. 4 fucking years of this guy. Got a new Secretary of State. And breaking, the U.S. Secretary of State Blinken says that Iran could now be weeks away from having material to build a nuclear bomb. Hey, Iran's been weeks away from having material to build a bomb since 1979. Here we go. There it is. NBC Universal. Blinken says Iran possibly closer to enough material for nuclear bomb. That's not harmful to their viewers, though, Graham, right? To print straight up propaganda like that. That's not. Come on. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, not Anthony, Antony, repeated warnings that Iran could be on course to get enough fissile material to build a nuclear weapon within months. Scared, be afraid that Iran's going to launch a nuclear weapon. Adding that if Iran continues to lift restraints from the nuclear deal, it could be a matter of weeks. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said, we are going to have to address Iran's other bad behavior. What about our bad behavior? I don't know if you look at the country right next to them, what we did to it, and then the country right next to that, and then the country just north of that, and then the country to the east of that. Do you see what the fuck we're doing? Bad behavior by Iran? Who has Iran invaded? Nobody. Who else has Iran bombed? Nobody. How many nuclear weapons does Iran have? 0. How many do we have? 5,000. We are going to have to address Iran's other bad behavior, malign behavior across the region. But from our perspective, a critical early priority has to be to deal with what is an escalating nuclear crisis as they move closer and closer to having enough fissile material for a weapon. When are we going to address? By the way, here you go. Countries attacked by bombing, sabotage, and attempted government overthrow since World War II. Iran, 0. This is all the ones the United States have done. So when are we going to address our bad behavior? This is the textbook, do as I say, not as I do. That's what this is. And you want to know how long they've been saying that Iran is close to getting a nuclear weapon? Do you want to see? Well, here's Colin Powell saying it in 2004. 2004, 16 years ago, almost 2 decades they've been saying this shit. The United States has intelligence that Iran is working to adapt missiles to deliver a nuclear weapon. Further evidence that the Islamic Republic is determined to acquire a nuclear bomb, Secretary of State Colin Powell said on Wednesday, right after he got done turning Iraq into a hellfirescape. After Colin Powell lied us into an illegal war that killed millions of people, children, old people. New report says that Iran can have a nuclear bomb in a month. That's from 2013. A study by Washington-based Institute for Science and International Security claims new and advanced centrifuges have reduced possible breakout time frame. Here's one from 2012. Iran on the brink of nuclear bomb in 6 to 7 months, says Benjamin Netanyahu. Isn't this amazing? They might be able to get the new centrifuges. They might be able to get the centrifuges. And with Amazon Prime, you think they would have gotten it already. As soon as Iran finds the keys to that centrifuge, it's going to be bam, bam, bam. And by the way, Colin Powell's never led us astray before. Ever. When has Colin Powell ever led us astray? I'm serious. U.S. Secretary of State, Iran weeks away from having material to build a nuclear bomb. It's like one of those fanatical cults that keeps predicting the end of the world, but they're wrong every single time. It's like the United States is the boy who cried wolf, except we're the boy and we're the wolf. Right? Isn't that? I've been thinking about this a long time, and I think our media might not be the best when it comes to foreign policy. I know, crazy. I'm not going to make a lot of friends at parties saying this, but I don't think you can rely on U.S. media. By the way, nuclear weapons, United States, 5,550. Iran, still 0. Still 0, Graham.
Wow.
Go ahead.
Well, I mean, look, Iran has committed a lot of crimes, man. Let's be real clear here. They poisoned the water in Flint, Michigan. They shot water protectors at Standing Rock. They gave the banks over $1 trillion and let the banks steal 6 million homes, mine being one of them. So, Iran has a lot to answer for. It was the Iran Police Department that kills unarmed black men. It's just preposterous. You can find video footage from 2007 of Senator Hillary Clinton saying, whoa, we got to get Iran. So they've been ramping up war with Iran. I mean, the last year or so of